Terrorism. From the 9/11 terror attack to current threats like ISIS, this phenomena has spread concern across the globe and is a constant topic in politics and the news. In this presentation, we will argue that extremism is strongly connected to authoritarian leadership styles. The prime candidate for a fundamentalist group to recruit is a directionless and vulnerable person. Followers join a radical group because they provide the support that they aren't getting in other places. It gives them a purpose, mentors, and a blueprint for violent expression. A current example of an environment breeding extremism is popular liberal media ridiculing and labeling Trump supporters, and arguably pushing this group to defiantly take on the self-fulfilling prophecy of radicalism and extremism. By acting in an authoritarian way where one must either be liberal or evil, society prevents open dialogue as would happen in a true democracy, and instead enforces narrow views. Why are authoritarian and transformational leaders so good at radicalizing people? Authoritarianism is arguably prepped for extremism, as the leader is endowed with absolute power, where all three faces of power, force, influence, and contextual power, are at the leader's disposal. Other leadership styles, including laissez-faire and democracy, aren't as optimal because leaders do not have enough power to assert total control over followers. The followers in these types of relationships are given freedom to provide their own ideas, suggestions, and tasks, making it virtually impossible to enforce narrow beliefs and behaviors. Authoritarian leaders use forceful power in the form of rewards and punishments to enforce radical behavior. Rewards in the Muslim faith revolve around a luxurious afterlife, including being given 72 virgins and a meeting with a Muslim idol. On the other hand, punishments can be both physical and emotional. If they do not exhibit the outlined beliefs and behaviors dictated by the leader, followers may be shot, cut, or killed, or shunned, ridiculed, and ejected from the community. Who are these radical leaders, and how do they amass such a dedicated following? They convince vulnerable followers that they have a superior cause that can only be fulfilled with violent and extreme actions. Many of these acts we experience secondhand and are for self-serving purposes of the leader. Leaders of extremist groups often have a desire for absolute power over their followers and others. Their goal and task-orientedness explains the inhumane actions taken during terror attacks, as leaders do not feel empathy for the followers that sacrifice themselves or for the people they are attacking. Authoritarian leaders trigger hatred and retaliatory attitudes towards society. When living means being unfaithful to God, followers would rather die with respect from the group as a martyr. Some Muslims believe they have the obligation to be a member of the jihad to fight for a better world. Leaders of religious organizations pick and choose holy texts that argue their cause to followers who believe they are righteous orders communicated by God. The Westboro Baptist Church is a Christian hate group that uses 1 Kings 14:24 in the Bible to argue that homosexuals are the children of the devil and that followers must spread the message as servants of God. ISIS, using Dabiq magazine, justifies the enslavement of women using Sharia law from the Quran. Using scripture against followers silences any exchange of ideas or dissenting opinions, as opposing these ideas is deemed as opposing Allah. Although we have found that in dangerous authoritarian leadership situations, often with religious undertones, followers are guided down a narrow set of beliefs that make it easier to demonize and rationalize extreme behavior against others, it is not the reason behind all terrorism, and it can actually be useful in certain business situations where employees need a shepherd to guide them through unskilled labor or new tasks.